So thank you for coming today.
Of course.
Could you tell me a little bit about what brought you in?
So, I just started college a couple weeks ago, and I thought I would adjust really well to college life. I was ready to be on my own. I was ready to be independent. And I did so well in high school. I thought I'd do fantastic in college. I've been lonely. I haven't made any friends. I've started faltering in classes, and I'm sort of at the point where I just kind of want to go home. And it's only been like 3 weeks.
Yeah. Tell me more about how you are adjusting. What's different?
Well, I thought I was ready for sort of the independence, being on my own, being able to not have anybody tell me what to do. But I've found out that, it's a lot of time sitting in your room alone, and I don't have the motivation to study or do homework, and so I sleep too much. I've overslept at least 2 or 3 of my classes so far. I don't have anybody looking out for me, which I thought would be great, but now it's starting to worry me. I'm getting a little homesick. I miss my parents. I mean, it's not what I thought it would be.
How are your relationships in your family?
Well, my dad and I were very close. He would travel a lot for work, and sometimes he would take me with him. And my mom and I were close enough, but I felt she was always close to my younger sister. But, we were a normal family. We're all happy, we all love each other. But sometimes I felt like they were helicopter parents in high school, and now that I'm not in high school anymore, now that they're not constantly looking over my shoulder, I feel like I've let them down by sort of spiraling out of control.
It sounds like your transition to college is not what you were expecting.
No, not at all.
Can you tell me a little bit more about what you were expecting?
I
What
mean,
your ideal college situation was going to be like?
I came in, I thought, I have friends, a roommate, I spent a long time talking to people on Facebook before coming in, and I thought I found a kid who would be fun to hang out with and who had similar interests, but he's off with his girlfriend all the time. He's never in the room, and when he is, he brings her along, and it's just very weird. So it's a lot of times alone in my room. I thought classes would be challenging, but not overbearing. And for the most part, they have been, but the classes themselves don't feel all that much different from high school. I don't feel like I'm learning anything new. So I guess I was also expecting a little bit more fun, a little bit more social time, a little bit more, not even going to parties, but like going bowling, going out to eat with friends. I don't have a car on campus, so that doesn't help. And I'm a little scared to take the bus. I haven't heard such good things about the bio bus. So I'm kind of stuck, I feel like.
It sounds like you may not have found the clubs that interest you. Have you looked into going to the organization fair or other resources on campus?
I went to the org fair, and I met a few people. It's a little weird walking around by yourself, right, at the org fair, but I tried signing up for club baseball. I didn't realize how competitive it was, and I also didn't realize that it was such a big party club, and so I decided that wasn't my ideal. I've tried going to organization interest meetings and trying to meet some people, but nothing just really sticks out. Nothing has made me say, oh, I absolutely want to do that, and I want to show up to every meeting.
Were there things that you were really passionate about in high school that Elon might have?
Sports. I played baseball. I ran cross country. I did a few clubs and little odds and ends things here and there, but for the most part, when I wasn't doing athletics or homework, I was hanging out with friends, going out and going to dinner, going to movies. Spent my whole life in the hometown. I built, tons of great friendships, and I just feel like it's all gone.
So it sounds like you really value relationships in your life, and the lack of fast relationships here has really weighed you down.
A little bit, yeah. I thought it would be easier to meet people in classes. I thought it would be easier to meet people in clubs. Thought my roommate would be, interested, and he's a nice guy. He really is not a bad guy. I just, I feel bad saying, hey, let's hang out, when he's like, oh, I'm going to hang out with the girlfriend. It kind of makes me uncomfortable to be the third wheel, but also I feel bad pulling him away from that.
So I'm gathering that you don't necessarily know how to express your feelings?
Maybe. Probably.
In your past, are you more of a confrontational person, or what's your comfort level with relationships?
I really haven't had any issues in the past. I mean, most of my friendships, we were pretty stable, and if we ever ran into any issues, we would just talk it out and smooth it out, and so I never had to, I never lost any friends in any major fights or anything like that. There was no drama. It all worked.
Mm-hmm.
It was almost idyllic,
Yeah.
ideal.
Tell me what you look for in a friend.
Someone who lets you be as weird as you want to be without criticizing, and someone who can also be as weird as they want to be back without you criticizing. Somebody who just gets you, somebody who is there for you when you fall down. They help you pick yourself back up. I never necessarily shared the same interests as my friends. We were never on the same sports teams or anything, but we always had a good time. I don't know, it just sort of worked.
So, in terms of finding people like that description here, what's been your experience?
Well, there are plenty of good people here, and plenty of people who are very nice. But I feel like a lot of people came in with friend groups. I feel like a lot of people came in and their roommates were their friends, or they just, they found a group within day 1 or 2 or 3, and it just worked for them. And I didn't get so lucky, and so maybe I didn't come in with a cohort or come in with any particular sort of group of friends. I'm the only kid from my high school that came here. I'm the only kid from my hometown that came here. So I don't have any real starting point. I thought my starting point would be a roommate or my suite mates. And they all do their own thing. So, but like I said, the people I've met have been nice, just not, I haven't made any real connections yet.
Yeah, it's hard to feel isolated and alone, and it kind of almost makes you think about yourself more.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts about yourself?
How do you mean by that?
Like what characteristics do you value in yourself?
I mean, I always thought I was hardworking and dedicated. I liked to be on time. I liked to be someone that people can trust and can rely on. And I've almost feel like I've let myself down by starting to skip classes and miss activities and just sit in my room and sleep all day. And I don't know, every time I feel a lack of motivation to do anything, I always feel bad about myself because I'm like, I never did this before. So I was worried, but also I'm almost ashamed.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like I'm letting somebody down, whether it's my professors or my parents or myself. So.
Tell me more about that. Your feelings of shame.
Yeah, I don't know, I just feel like this is not me. I didn't need any persuasion to work hard before, so why has that changed? Why has this transition from high school to college changed me so much? You know, I didn't expect it to be this hard, but I also, you know, I was expecting a challenge, but not this much of a challenge. Maybe I thought it would be handed to me on a silver platter. I don't know, but
So your expectations are seeming to cause some dissonance between your views of yourself and who you want to be and now who you're becoming at the start of this transition.
I think so. Yeah, reality and expectations are not on an even playing field. Was much harder than I thought.
Yeah. I can only imagine how you are feeling and how this problem has changed your life, and not necessarily for the better, but it's good that you came to counseling and are trying to work through this. When you talk about your family with other people, do you find that those relationships are your strongest in your life right now? Are they less strong because of your move to college? Are you trying to create some distance?
I was worried about my parents at first. You know, I'm the oldest and the first kid to go to college. I was worried that they would worry about me, and I don't want them to worry about me. I don't want to be 600 miles away and have them, you know, I don't want them breathing down my neck, obviously, but I don't want them to not reach out if they have a concern.
It's almost like you don't want to burden them with your problems.
Yeah, I don't. I want them to feel like everything is okay. They're spending all this money on college tuition and it's not, I don't want them to think, oh, he doesn't, like it, or he's not fit for it. I've wanted to reach out to them multiple times, but I feel like I would let them down by saying, oh, I didn't feel like going to class today, so I slept in, or, oh, I missed an assignment because I just didn't feel like doing it.
How do you think they would react?
I think they would be disappointed. My parents are always, they want me to work hard and do my best. Grades were important, but if you struggled, if you sought help and worked hard, even if you didn't get the best grade, they were just happy that you were trying to work through it. And I don't feel like I'm trying to work through it as much as I should be, and I feel like that would let them down, especially since, they're signing the checks.
So you're almost afraid to disappoint them?
Very much so. Very much so.
And would you attribute this to a cost factor only, or because those are what you've mentioned so far?
Well,
or are you afraid of losing almost their respect?
I think that's, I mean, I don't want them, I almost want to say that I don't want them to think that college isn't for me, but at the same time, since I'm having all these struggles, maybe it isn't for me. So I don't want them to make any rash decisions, whether it comes down to cost or they worry about my social well-being or my health. I don't want them to make, I don't want them to say, oh, you can't go to college anymore because you had one bad experience and you didn't adjust well. And I'm not sure they would, I worry about that.
So, tell me about, you listed all these qualities. You want someone without criticism, and you want...
Not without criticism, just without judgment.
Okay.
I want somebody to call me out when I do something stupid. I just don't want them to criticize me for every little move that I make.
So you're almost worried about people, the judgment that comes from relationships.
A little bit.
Do you think that, in your experience so far at college, that that's what the people are like? Is that holding you back from reaching out?
Partially. it's almost a repeat of high school where if you don't fit in, if you're not part of the group, I feel like a lot of people won't reach out to you. If you try to sort of maneuver your way in, people are like, what's this guy doing here?
Tell me about your high school experience and what your relationships looked like in high school.
I mean, I know there was high school drama like they portray in the movies. I know there was the popular kids, all the jocks that dated the cheerleaders, but I was never part of that. I had my own group of friends and we were normal. Went to class, we hung out, we did sports. We just had a good time. I mean, I never was socially stressed. I never had any social anxiety in high school, so I just never worried about it.
So it's almost like you're struggling because this is such a new feeling to you.
Mm-hmm. I haven't done it. I haven't done the whole making friends thing like this before.
What would you ideally like to see moving forward?
I would like to push myself to try a little bit harder in classes, in making friends, and being more open about what's going on. I'm worried almost of trying all that and still not doing well, still not succeeding. You know, I worry that if I do join a club, that I'll still be an outcast, or you know, they won't accept me, or whatever. And I also feel like if I try harder and work harder in school, I still may not do well. But I guess I won't know unless I try.
Is that, I can only imagine that that's something inside of you that's pulling back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
You want to put yourself out there, but at the same time it's very difficult to not get the response you're seeking.
Mm-hmm.
You're afraid of that.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a great thing that you came to counseling, and I would like to thank you for sharing your feelings with me. And I look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you. How's that?
Great.